A quadratic function is any function that can be written in the form f at x is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. The coefficients a, b, and c must all be real numbers, and the leading coefficient cannot be 0. If a was equal to 0, this entire term would disappear, and we would end up with a linear function, not a quadratic function. So we do need the x squared term in order to be considered quadratic. Because a quadratic function is also a polynomial, the domain of a quadratic function is always going to be from negative infinity to positive infinity, which is all real numbers. And the graph of a quadratic function is always going to be a parabola. When graphing a quadratic function, we'll want to label these parts of the parabola. The vertex is going to be either, in this case it's a minimum, it could also be a maximum if the parabola was opening down, but in either case, the vertex is that center point. The axis of symmetry is going to be a vertical line that passes right through that vertex. It is the axis about which the parabola is symmetrical. The x-intercepts are the points at which the graph crosses the x-axis, and the y-intercept is the point at which we cross the y-axis. In this particular case, our vertex is located at the ordered pair 1, -4. The axis of symmetry would be the vertical line x is equal to 1. The x-intercepts are going to be the ordered pairs 3, 0 and -1, 0, and the y-intercept is going to be the ordered pairs 0, -3. There are two common forms that a quadratic function can be expressed in, and in this video we're going to discuss the vertex form. The vertex form of a quadratic function looks a lot like performing transformations on the x squared graph. The graph y is equal to x squared is a parabola opening up, and if you'll recall with transformations, this inside shift is a horizontal shift and backwards from logic, so this would be taking the graph to the right h units. And this outside transformation would be shifting the graph up k units. So if we went to the right h and up k, the vertex point would land at the ordered pair hk. And this leading coefficient value out here would correspond to either a vertical stretch or a compression that would simply impact the width of the parabola. So when the parabola is written in vertex form, we can extract the vertex from the function. The x-coordinate of the vertex is going to be the opposite of what we see inside here, and the y-coordinate of the vertex is going to be exactly what we see outside here. Now, we mentioned this a coefficient is going to affect the width of the parabola. If that value is positive, the parabola is going to maintain its position opening up. But if it's negative, a negative coefficient on the front translates to a vertical reflection or a flip over the x-axis, which means then that the parabola is going to be opening down. So let's take a look at an example of a quadratic function that's written in the vertex form and identify all of these quantities and then graph the function. We'll start off with finding the vertex. And since this is in vertex form, we actually get the vertex for free. We can just extract it from the equation. Remember, the x-coordinate of the vertex is going to be the opposite of what we see inside here, -2, and the y-coordinate of the vertex is going to be exactly what we see outside here, +4. If we were to graph this using transformations, we would have taken this to the left 2 and up 4. Now to find the x-intercepts algebraically, we plug in y is equal to 0 and solve for x. So we'll come down here where we have a little bit more space, and plugging in y is equal to 0, this is our y-coordinate, so we'll plug in 0 on the left-hand side, and then copy-paste the right-hand side of that equation, and then we'll want to solve for x. Now this is a quadratic equation, and there are 4 primary ways of solving it, which would be set it equal to 0 and factor, square root method, completing the square, or the quadratic formula. And this in the vertex form lends itself nicely to solving by the square root method. To use the square root method, we're going to isolate the quantity squared, starting by subtracting 4 from both sides. So we get -4 is equal to -2 times x plus 2 quantity squared. These canceled out. Then we're going to divide both sides by -2 to get +2 on the left and x plus 2 by itself on the right. Now we're ready to take the square root of both sides. And when we take the square root of both sides, we have to consider the plus or minus possibilities, and that plus or minus goes on the constant side. The square root of a quantity squared, these things cancel each other out. I'm going to pull the x plus 2 on the left, switching sides, And so we'll have plus or minus square root of 2 on the right. In order to completely solve for x now, we just subtract 2 from both sides. And so we get x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2. And these quantities do not combine because they're not considered like terms. Let's come back up and clearly state our answer. We have x is equal to negative 2 plus the square root of 2, 0 as one of the x-intercepts, and negative 2 minus the square root of 2, 0 as the other x-intercept. Let's begin plotting these points on the Cartesian plane, starting with the vertex at negative 2, 4. We'll plot the ordered pair but also label it. And the x-intercepts, the first one at negative 2 plus rad 2 is going to be an x-coordinate that is approximately negative 0.59, which is about right here, but we'll label our point with the exact value, which is negative 2 plus rad 2, comma, 0. Negative 2 minus rad 2, 0 is approximately negative 3.4, but we're going to label it again with the exact value, negative 2 minus rad 2, comma, 0. Now before we connect those dots, let's go ahead and find the y-intercept. And in order to do that, we're going to plug in x is equal to 0 and solve for y. So let's come back down to our workspace. Plugging in x is equal to 0 and solving for y can be expressed as evaluating the function at 0. So we'll copy down our equation and then plug in x is equal to 0 and then evaluate negative 2 times 0 plus 2 is 2, quantity squared is 4, plus 4. So the function evaluated at 0 is negative 8 plus 4, which is negative 4. So the y-intercept is going to be the ordered pair 0, negative 4. Let's clearly state our answer 0, negative 4, and then also plot it on the Cartesian plane, labeling that point. We now have enough points to get a basic graph of the parabola, and then let's continue to answer the questions up here. What is the relative max or the relative min? When we say find the relative max or minimum, remember we're looking for a y value that is the highest y value or the lowest y value. Since the parabola is opening down, we're going to get a relative max, not a relative min. So let's say that the relative maximum is the y-coordinate of that vertex point. So the maximum is 4. If we were asked where that maximum occurs, we would say it occurs at the x value, negative 2. The domain of a quadratic function is always all real numbers because a quadratic function is also a polynomial, and polynomials generally have domains that are all real numbers. The range of this quadratic function, because it's opening down, this parabola goes to negative infinity, so that's the smallest value of our range, and it goes all the way up to y is equal to 4, which is the highest y value that we get in this collection of ordered pairs. So we'll say that the range starts at negative infinity and goes up to 4. We include 4 because there is an ordered pair that has 4 as the range element. And finally, the axis of symmetry is going to be the vertical line that passes straight through the vertex. It's the vertical line about which our parabola is symmetrical. A vertical line is always going to have the equation x is equal to some value, and the x value that we pass through is negative 2.